Well, folks, Season 2, Episode 10 already. Time flies. So, a few things to note. There's probably going to be something exciting regarding the workaholism battle that's going to be occurring in the next few moments. It might be teased in this episode, so keep your ears peeled. Thank you for the support that this podcast has been given, as well as the support in the battle against workaholism, as well as your support in my content. I know that it's not garnering that much attraction, but to those of you who are tuning in, thank you. Your viewership is appreciated. That being said, enjoy Season 2, Episode 10.
In a tight crunch for scholarships. Trying to get around a writer's block for your net video? We've got you covered. Welcome to Life of a Content Creating College Student. With your hosts, Wayne C. Hero 207 and Charlotte Wade.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're already at Season 2, Episode 10. My name is Colton W. Hurst, known as Wayne Z0207 on the internet. Welcome to the last episode before the close of winter term.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. I'm Charlotte Waite. Glad to be back after the winter storm last week. And we are joined by a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello there. I'm Doug Halverson. I'm Oregon Tech's graphic artist in the marketing department. Glad to be here tonight.
Yep, and not to mention the professor for Business 256. This is the professor that's been teaching me all the graphic design techniques in Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. Everything that has to do with Adobe software. A software that I honestly never would have expected to use, and one that I hoped that I wouldn't have to use, but we figured that day would have come.
It was bound to happen. We got to stretch in our careers, right?
Yes, it's been fun having you in my class, Colton. And I know that's going to lead into my first question for you, but after Charlotte asked her question.
Yep. And of course, live bloopers. We're already breaking the fourth wall. Everyone please make sure we're all speaking close to the mic. This is why I'm moving the mic around.
Okay. Yes, this is a very interesting mic movement episode, so please bear with us. It's kind of like a little dance that we all are taking with this microphone. Well, Colton, should we jump in? Question number 1?
Absolutely, I have the second monitor up and running.
Okay, well, what are 2 things that went well for you in the past 2 weeks?
On Sunday, following the previous recording, a pinball memorial was held for the person within the Wayne Z0207 community that passed. Let me tell ya, it felt good releasing all the tension the loss gave a good chunk of us. Those of you who attended had the honor of witnessing the Mustang Pinball Drift Race Double Ball exploit technique, which is executed in a few basic steps. I don't even need to read the episode notes for this. So, basically what it is you have Drift Race lit. You've completed all the modes within the initial game's course and have activated Drift Race. And you're in a multi-ball, preferably Burnout multi-ball. This is usually indicated by the fact that Burnout multi-ball is lit. It should say something around those lines. And it'll also give you a confirmation when you hear the words, "Tires upgraded!" Yeah, so anyways, you gotta have Burnout multi-ball lit. And once you do, and you have cleared the last mode to activate Drift Race, if you have not claimed the Add-a-Ball yet, and you have 2 balls on the field, you have to let the second to last one drain and then shoot the scoop right immediately after the drain, because the game will fail to recognize the length of the grace period, which is actually too short for the game to recognize that the multi-ball is still going.
Oh, wow, okay. I think I'm following.
And so what's going to happen is the game's going to end the multi-ball mode, and yet it's going to grant the add a ball anyway, which means normally you're supposed to have 1 ball in the field, but instead you're granted 2.
Sneaky. I see.
And so this technique does not work properly if you don't have Drift Race activated at the same time.
Oh, okay. So Drift Race must break the system, get the points.
Absolutely, and clear the mode faster, not to mention.
I'm just amazed and trying to keep up with everything with this pinball game. So
I base all of my visuals on your great storytelling based off of the pinball download that used to be on every single computer. That's my experience with pinball. So I just picture that, the spaceman.
Well, Stern Pinball Arcade Collection is actually free on the Xbox. You just have to pay for the rest of the machines. That's the only drawback. The first machine they grant for free is Frankenstein.
The best one. That is one of my favorite books.
And keep in mind, this is not the book, it's the movie from Mary Shelley.
Oh. Well, Mary Shelley was the author as well.
Oh. Dang. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we have obviously a ton of machines to choose from. Just way too many of them for me to keep track of. Or way too many for us to keep track of, for that matter. Anyways, believe it or not, there might be a surprise coming up for December 10th due to the reception of the memorial match. I'm not going to give anything away right away. We're just going to leave it to you to interpret for the time being.
Only 260 days. I actually don't know if that's accurate.
I was just going to ask, how did you know that? I'm an artist, not even going to go.
Yeah, mathematics is often a stressor for a good chunk of us. So anyways, second thing that went well for this week, I got in the mail a second screen for my laptop, which I will detail here in a minute, which we are using to read off the episode notes. What I will note right away is it not only allows for me to have 2 screens to potentially look at my chat while checking emails, but also allows for greater multitasking anywhere else. Given, from what I learned in my classes, there's no such thing as multitasking because our brains is wired to switch tasks quickly. Rather, multitasking in the sense of having more than one thing open at the same time has been greatly increased.
Yeah. I do have to say, after college, when I went into the professional career, and I had 3 screens for the first time, and now when I go back to just use my laptop, I cannot function off of one screen. This is so nifty.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a nice setup you have there, Colton.
I try, folks, and it still continues to expand, but I think we're almost at full capacity, or in economic terms, full employment of my equipment.
Ooh, excellent application of your learned material.
Absolutely. So anyways, although we don't have a confirmed date as to when we're going to resume streaming, what the second monitor will help me with is I can have a digital version of the accounting book open on the other monitor and my accounting exercises on my main screen with the display settings to extend this display, meaning I will not have to deal with carrying a third item with me at all times. While this does mean I will possibly lug more weight when transporting my equipment and technology, it is much easier to manage my book load because of the additional screen being able to display the accounting book. No more having to deal with a third irritating accounting binder.
Is that cutting down on your room and your backpack a little bit?
Definitely, but however, my main problem is because this binder is so big, I actually have to carry it on my arms and hands.
It's that binder. Yeah, no, free up your hands. Now you're able to high-five people as you walk past.
Absolutely. Professor Halverson, our next question is on the monitor.
Okay. How did these things help you grow, and what did you gain out of it?
Well, through these most notable events, I not only had the chance to release some of the tension that had been bothering me mid-winter term, But now that I have a second monitor, I can have more things open at one time. This new layer of multitasking gives me more versatility when I need to focus on more than one thing at a time. Not that I recommend this to fellow workaholics out there. As a reminder, that fundraiser is still open. Be sure to donate if you haven't already. Support the cause that we've been supporting this entire academic year.
Amen. Okay, well, what's one setback that you've come across in the past 2 weeks?
Okay, one setback. By acquiring the second monitor, I just had to take it with me. As a result, the zippers on my old laptop bag broke off.
No.
No, like, snapped completely off?
What the problem was is my zippers could now zip on one side only.
That's disappointing.
Indeed, disappointing indeed. But, however, we had not one single chance at restoring the bag to its prior state at the moment, but we did get a bigger bag because of the mishap. Everything happens for a reason.
How are you liking the new bag?
Well, it's got more sections and more room to carry more things, and better organization too, for that matter. I mean, it has room for my monitor, it has room for my big laptop. I think my big laptop was probably the thing that did the bag in addition to the extra monitor.
Yeah, I think that's a good observation. You're always carrying around a lot of equipment, your binders, your textbooks, yeah.
Professor Halverson, can you relate to this to some degree?
I can. As a former art student in college, I went through quite a few art portfolios where I would lose a zipper, or the corners would tear out from all of the art boards that I had slammed and crammed into the portfolio. So yes, I can relate.
Oh, can I relate? Now this is gonna showcase my type A personality. I'm very much organize my things when I need to grab them, where are lockers that I can store things, because I'm weak and I have back pain. And so I was always cycling things in and out of my bags. I was very strategic, I would say, as a student. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty neat. I'm not the only one, obviously, but man, I didn't expect it to be this group. A group filled with content creators and basically double lifers.
Oh,
Double
that
lifers.
makes it sound like
Yeah,
spies.
it kind of does.
I could enjoy
We
that.
have an alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one thing you can take away from this, and how can you turn this setback into an accomplishment?
Don't force your zippers. If you do, there's likely a chance they're going to break and you won't be able to close your leather bags and secure whatever items you have stored. That's obviously pretty bad news.
I think there's a metaphor in there, you know. Don't try and zip what can't be zipped.
Oh,
That's a good takeaway for the day. Yes, for me.
Good things come to those who wait. And for our random fact of the day, the Where's the Beef lady, Clara Peller, lost her job in 1985 after doing a Prego ad in which she found the beef at somewhere other than Wendy's.
What? That's pretty fun, actually. That's a fun marketing.
I didn't know that because I grew up in the 80s and I watched the Where's the Beef lady on TV. I did not realize she lost her job.
Man, yeah. I mean, I was kind of shocked about it as well. I didn't even know this myself, or at least if I did know, I was really busy with getting everything set up. You know, times change, and so kind of sort of forgot about it.
Yeah, it's okay. And also, you weren't around in the 80s, so you don't really have a societal component along with it, too. You're scotch-free.
Have you ever watched a Where's the Beef ad?
I do believe I watched it on YouTube in one of
On
my
YouTube.
classes.
Classic
That's
marketing.
great that, yeah, those old classic TV ads still survive on YouTube.
And keep in mind, this was in high school economics, if I do remember correctly.
Are you ready for your next question?
Of course, lay it on me.
Well, what did you you do as a college student in the past 2 weeks?
Okay, to be fair, we are only preparing for finals for the last 2 weeks. Finals week is next, and following it is the trip to DC. We will outline my expectations for while we were away at the end of the episode, but know that we just need you to do what you have been doing the previous times I was away. Finals are going to be a blast. Not only did I confirm that I have finished Business 349 with above 100%, but I have secured numerous extra credit points, and I'm looking to knock this term out with a guaranteed 4.0.
Nice. Solid.
And one of those A's is in my class, Colton. You've excelled. These went above and beyond the call of duty in my class.
We've had a lot of conversations about your class on this podcast, haven't we, Colton?
Absolutely.
Good to hear.
All filled with excitement and anticipation and all good things.
Colton's a quick learner. He's learned everything that I've taught quickly, and he's even shared his knowledge last night in our very last class of the term before finals. He came to class. He had already submitted his final project and decided to volunteer his time to other students that were still having questions and needed some help finalizing their project. So I really appreciated that, Colton.
How selfless. How does that make you feel, Colton?
I'm honestly happy that my classmates are getting ready to finish their projects, and they're able to do so with my help. I mean, honestly, it's way too hard to just be a college student on your own, just, being able to excel in studies, but to see others struggling is just a big old pain.
I say this metaphor a lot, and I say it a lot specifically in Trio, but in New Orleans, do you remember Hurricane Katrina, Colton?
I think so, yeah.
There's over, what did I recently hear the number? $206 billion in damages that hurricane swept through. But what was left standing afterwards were these giant oak trees that lined the streets. And why they remained standing was because their roots were all interconnected and they were supporting each other up. So I think that's so important in college, to be supporting others and holding each other through the storm so that you all can succeed at the end, right?
Great metaphor.
Absolutely.
Isn't that fun?
It is a great metaphor. I did not know that about Hurricane Katrina.
So I usually say that at Trio top info nights. Well, the students that are coming into the program now are born after Hurricane Katrina. Yeah.
You're kidding.
And so I try and relate, and I say, you remember this? And they go, no, we were not born. It's a little awkward, but that's okay. We move on.
Nothing like the younger generations to make you feel old.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah. I mean, times do in fact change. Yeah, people have been saying Gen Alpha is pretty weird.
Yeah, I haven't interacted with Gen Alpha too much.
I had no clue there was a Gen Alpha. I'm trying to get past Gen Z.
I did my research, and believe it or not, I do believe there's a branch where Gen Z and Gen Alpha are actually connected. I think I have a feeling that my niece is within that sort of range.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I did not know that. I'm learning quite a few things in this podcast.
It's
Glad
a
to be
learning
here.
experience.
That's right.
We're glad you're here too.
Absolutely. Anyways, creative capacities explored in Business 256, and plenty of insightful extra credit discussions occurred in the extra credit segments of Eco 202 regarding how our economies are faring.
And how are our economies faring?
Well, let's not get too political, folks.
Absolutely.
Unless it has to deal with economics.
In my opinion, I think we might have borrowed too much, so to speak, a little too much.
No, yeah. We don't have to dive into that.
Okay, guess that leads into my next question. All right. What lessons were taught, and how can you apply or enhance your studies based on your experience?
Not only do we need to always stay curious and keep learning, because there was so much going on, and I can't list every single experience, but believe me when I say through all these experiences, I was constantly learning, with plenty of opportunities everywhere and that you just need to chase them, but also to stand by your fellow classmates if they are struggling. If you can help them, please do. It's one thing if you're trying to hold up on your own, but it's another thing to reach out to another student and give them a helping hand. That's how we make leaders.
That's a great point. Kind of leads into today that we celebrated. What is today?
Today is Pie Day.
Yes. And there was free pie in the M2 math tutor lab. And made me think of the students that help other students as tutors. And I unfortunately wasn't able to get a free piece of pie. What about you, Colton?
I didn't have time either, so no.
Gosh, well, good news to you both. After this, I brought a pie. Actually, I brought a crumble. It's not a true pie.
Man.
A gluten-free peach crumble. I'd be happy to dish some out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh man.
Charlotte, you just made my day. And my future dinner.
Oh yes. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Yeah. Well, for my next question for you, what did you do as a content creator in the
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off right there because this is really important. In fact, not only did I get the second monitor, but I also have a critical update regarding one of my works, particularly my documentary film. I've gotten word from my mom's mailbox on Monday that my copyright registration certificate has been granted from the U.S. Copyright Office in the Library of Congress. As of March 1st, 2024, the Advanced Technological Philosophy is now a registered work under Copyright Law Section 108. This means that my work is now legally protected and no one can reproduce, distribute, or perform my work without my permission or giving credits. I exercise Creative Commons with all of my works. It also gives me the right to sue any person or entity that violates my copyright. To the infringer that stole my documentary film, if you are listening to this episode of Life of a Content Creating College Student, or even worse, scandalously re-uploading it, I am one step closer to sending you a cease and desist letter. A cease and desist letter is a letter sent by one party to another that demands that the recipient stop a certain action. This means if my podcast gets registered, this podcast gets registered under copyright law, I'm going to be sending you a cease and desist letter asking you to stop all use of my work immediately. Greg, my mom's family, Charlotte, and I shouldn't have to deal with plagiarism and copyright cases, as we have lives outside of multimedia endeavors. It's our responsibility to protect our work, and we won't hesitate to take legal action if necessary. If you are to use my podcast or any of my work, I license my works under Creative Commons. We urge all of my audience members to respect our intellectual property rights and stop using our work without our permission. Thank you for your understanding. I hope this episode serves as a reminder that plagiarism is wrong and will not be tolerated. Stealing someone else's work is not only unethical, it is also illegal. And in the words of the internet, piracy is no party.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't steal a house. You wouldn't steal a handbag. Do you remember those commercials at the start of the VHS tapes?
I am trying to remember. It's been a long day. No, I don't remember that.
I bet if I brought it up, you would.
I bet you
Yeah.
would. Yeah. We just need to pop up YouTube or something.
Yes. Piracy is not a victimless crime. That's the catchphrase at the end of that commercial.
Friends, don't let friends steal other people's work.
Amen.
Okay. My next question to you, Colton. How did the overall production turn out if you created any form of content? And how can you improve content such as this based on your experience? If you expanded on your equipment, how does it function? And how will it improve your content?
My documentary film copyright registration ensured that my work is protected and legally recognized. This not only gives me peace of mind, but it also adds credibility to my content, making it more attractive to potential viewers and collaborators. The KYY 4K secondary monitor works just like any other laptop monitor. You You connect it through the acceptable connectivity methods, and the monitor comes on. From there, you have two choices in Windows 11: expand or duplicate your display. I choose to expand my display so I can have more versatility when it comes to switching tasks quickly. There is never a need to have multiple windows on one screen ever again if I don't want to. Use multiple monitors if you want more efficiency when getting tasks done, or just want to check your emails while typing up your paper.
Yes. And this is not sponsored by KYY.
Even though it does offer 4K resolution. That's impressive.
Yep, making the jump to
screen.
Yes, making the jump to 4K with everything nowadays. Our quote of the day: friendship, like the immortality of the soul, is too good to be believed. By Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Just goes right along with helping your friends, building those bridges, making those connections, right?
That's right.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, what college events or club meetings did you attend in the past 2 weeks?
To be honest, not too much occurred during Christian Fellowship since the last episode. Due to the inclement weather and solo recording session on the day it was recorded, the college was closed, and when I did go the week after, there was just a guest speaker who spoke about evangelism of children. Shout out to the presenters. However, there just wasn't too much to do, and Dad had me on a strict time limit so we could go back home. All you folks need to know is it's a 30 to 45 minute drive to our destination and back.
Yeah, we're already in rural Oregon, and then you and your dad are more rural in Oregon too. So when weather conditions get bad in town, they're even worse for you outside of town, and we just gotta adapt. And sometimes we miss out on things, and that's okay. Right?
I'm curious how far out of town you live.
Well, picture this. So you have Lake of the Woods, and then you have Harriman Springs just before you turn off on the road that takes you to the top of Pelican Butte. We're in between those points.
Is that right? You're up by Fort Klamath. Or not Fort Klamath, or Rocky Point area.
Yep, Rocky Point. Yep, the same spot I was stuck at when I was recording episode 9.
Oh yeah. I was actually traveling over 140 that day as well.
Rocky Point's beautiful country, Colton.
Yeah.
I'd be really happy to live there.
Yeah, well, I might just keep you posted.
Okay.
Anyways, that being said, what was exciting was the top Epicenter bowling get-together that occurred on March 9th. A nice 3-hour escapade consisting of bowling, good food, and plenty of conversation. If you were there on Saturday, typo. You will have noticed I bowled a turkey during my last game. A truly impressive way to go out.
That is impressive.
Absolutely. I was bowling in the lane next to you, and it was very embarrassing because you were hitting like 150, and I was hitting like for the entire game 50.
So, when people refer to turkey outside of Thanksgiving, usually that's kind of a negative thing. But in bowling a turkey is actually a great thing. What is a turkey? Colton.
Answer that question before we move on. What is a turkey?
So a turkey would be considered 3 strikes in bowling.
That's great. Wow. Yeah. You had more than one turkey in your bowling?
No, not the entire session.
Okay. That's still impressive. Good job.
It's so impressive.
Well, sadly, we won't get to answer the question of, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well does this get involved with the Oregon Tech or Klamath community, but I'll just briefly say it's a 9, mainly because of the strict time limit when it came to Christian Fellowship and the lack of activities. And so for our scholarly shoutouts, our first one is going to classified employees in honor of Classified Appreciation Week, which was the week before this episode was recorded. Classified workers are not like those who are unclassified, those who take the time to respond to emails during the weekend or are available for their students 24/7. They have other duties and responsibilities within the schools and universities they serve, such as cleaning the halls or taking pictures. These workers at Oregon Tech are underappreciated differently. Many of us recognize the faculty at Oregon Tech and various schools and universities because they are the ones who are actively partaking in the education system and planning out and executing lessons to help students develop careers and passions, while the classified workers work behind the scenes to make these schools and universities safe, decorative, and pleasant environments for everyone. The first shout out goes out to those workers. Oregon Tech would be the same without their contributions, and we should always take the time to recognize them.
Absolutely. I was just bowing down to Doug, the classified employee here.
That's right. I appreciate the sentiments there, Colton.
Yep, and I did shout you out in prior episodes too.
Oh,
a prior episode, so to speak.
appreciate it.
You've already gotten a scholarly shout out as well, which is pretty
Okay.
cool. Or was it a content creator shout out?
It was a scholarly shout out, but you can be up for consideration for both. Just FYI.
I'll take any accolades I can get at this point.
And then our second scholarly shout out goes out to Sohan Patel. I've known Sohan since Shasta Elementary in my mid to late childhood. He's involved in OIT Christian Fellowship, and he is majoring in biology health sciences. He is also known online as Presence and is my Twitch moderator and one of the moderators for the Fourth Wall Breakers Den Discord server as my Twitch moderator. Since Charlotte, Tammy, myself, and a select few other students from the Oregon Tech Trio program will be gone to DC from March 23rd to the 27th, my Discord server and documentary film will be left unoccupied. Luckily enough, Presence has accepted the role of running the Discord server while we are away. While we're away, Presence will be watching over you in the Discord server, as well as inviting others to the server as well. For those of his friends who don't know what the Fourth Wall Breakers Den is, if you're listening to this, the Fourth Wall Breakers Den is a place for gamers, content creators, and Waynesy 0207 fans alike to gather and chat with one another. If you receive an invite from him to join the server, do not hesitate to join us. Trust me, you're going to have a blast. Meanwhile, those of you who are on the Discord server already, please read the announcement I have posted regarding Matt DC1234's possible arrival on the server, as well as what to do if you have any questions or concerns if you have not already. Also, please do not stir up any trouble while we're away. The same goes for any would-be infringers who are thinking about using my content without asking me and without giving credits. I will have a separate person or user keep an eye out for those types of incidents. The Oregon Tech Trio program, including Charlotte and myself, are looking to have fun on this trip and do not want to return to sheer and utter chaos while we've been away.
Yeah, just like I said in that expectations meeting. Don't cause me to have anxiety. I have zero patience for it, right? That's the same with your Discord server, huh?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. And now for our creator credit. Our first creator credit goes out to Viraxian. They don't have many uploads, but what we do know of Viraxian was they did a smash montage on Kazuya mains titled, "What if Kazuya mains used 100% of their brain?" Not only did the video have the quality standard of high-level Kazuya Mishima Smash gameplay, but this YouTuber also implemented other forms of animation into the video, such as Source Filmmaker, and I do believe they also used green screen because right at the beginning of the episode they used a Call of Duty format where Kazuya had to fight off a zombie right off the bat. It's the Minecraft zombie for context.
Okay. My fiance has been playing Minecraft, so I'm quite aware of that zombie. I can picture it in my head.
Anyways, the video had some sort of a plot going where Kazuya casually destroys the Smash roster up until coming across Joker from Persona 5 for a second time, or a third time I should say, who kills Ryu, who is Kazuya's friend in this video. I'm not going to say who wins this conclusion. You're going to have to check out the links in the description to find out. I know I was bad on the last time I said that, but for real this time, I'll make sure the links are in there. I promise ya. And then the second shout out goes out to Zawarudo. Zawarudo, like Viraxian, made a montage of Kazuya Mishima, except Zawarudo took a step out of his comfort zone and played the game Kazuya originated from, and its most recent release, Tekken 8. I was astounded by the quick mastery this YouTuber acquired from playing Kazuya Mishima in Tekken matches. It was ridiculous. Truly worthy of main man Sui's praise.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not too educated on these creators, but they definitely sound like they earned that shout out this week?
I have nothing to add other than have fun in Washington, D.C., Colton. I've been there, had a lot of fun. Last time I was there was in 1986. Yes, I'm aging myself. I was in high school and visited a lot of Smithsonian's, the Capitol building, and I actually got to see Vice President George Bush presiding over the Senate. This was before he became president back in 1988. So that was a neat experience.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. Well, I'm not sure how many senators and presidents we'll be able to see. They're kind of under strict security, but we are going to be doing our best, hitting up a few Smithsonian's, National Mall, strolling down around. The cherry trees are in bloom,
Yes.
which I'm pretty excited for, but it's going to cause for some traffic, so we're just going to hit everything we can and be okay if we don't. So I'm telling myself.
So I went to Washington, D.C. also during spring break, and the cherry blossoms were just blooming. So yes, I know exactly what you mean, and hopefully you have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the well wishes, Professor Halverson. And it's a pleasure finally having you on the very first episode.
Yes.
The very first episode you've ever started in, episode 10. It's finally a pleasure to have you on, and I hope to collaborate with you even more in the future.
Okay, I do as well. Thanks, Colton.
Yes, especially when it comes to OBS Studio. I'm hoping that I can teach you that, so that way potentially we could do some live recordings together.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so thank you all so much for tuning in, folks. And remember, there'll be disappointments in life, but we humans have the power to turn those disappointments into accomplishments. Please be good while we're away on DC, because this is Wayne Z0207, aka Colton W. Hurst, the fourth wall breaking one-man army, signing out for the last episode of Winter Term. Good night and have a happy spring break, everyone.
Yeah, rest up, everyone. Recuperate. Save yourself from burnout. And we'll see you in a few weeks.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Special thanks go to Oregon Institute of Technology, celebrating 75 years of applied learning in climate candies. This has been a fourth wall breaking one-man army production.